Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Enlightened Journeys. My name is Astraea Love, and I am going to do a live psychic reading for you guys today. Please make sure you're familiar with my legal disclaimer. It is in the description box below. Okay, but my readings are for entertainment purposes only. This is a reading for the collective, so you need to be able to use your best discernment so that you can take what resonates with you, and what does not resonate with you, you can leave for the person that's meant for. If you have a pendulum or if you know muscle testing, if you don't know what a pendulum is, this is a pendulum. You can use a pendulum or you can use, muscle testing to get yes and no answers back from your higher self. That way you can better guide yourself while doing the live reading. Okay. Well, while I'm doing the live reading. All right. By watching my videos, you're agreeing to the contract of being in control of yourself, being responsible for yourself, and with any of the information being channeled, please be on your best behavior because the Most High God is watching and the Holy Spirit is listening. By watching my videos, you're agreeing to not attack, bully, or persecute me for my calling. Also, this contract includes any shadow banning, plagiarism, copywriting, and the copywriting of my messages. Everything said on this platform is copyrighted. Do not steal messages from God and the Holy Spirit. Okay. So now we're going to do the prayer. So I pray for safety and protection. I also ask that the Most High God be with us now. I ask that the Most High God continue to give us the grace of God, the light of God, the glory of God, the heavenly host armies, the archangels, the ascended masters, along with any other protection and safety that may be necessary at this time. I ask that Archangel Michael specifically, please block out any negativity or anyone that would try to cause any negativity in this reading. I pray for the highest light, the highest wisdom, and the highest truth to be revealed to me and my collective. And I pray for all of my subscribers. I ask now as I call upon God's favor to give us the full armor of God for protection during our life's mission and work here on the earth. I'm eternally grateful for your favor, Heavenly Source, and for your unfailing love. Thank you for blessing me and my subscribers, and thank you for healing the sick and creating miracles in your holy name, Lord my God. I give gratitude and thanks. I pray into thy holy presence and meditate upon your divine will. Amen. Okay, blessings, everybody. All right, so the main message that I got was that these people and their monitoring spirits are dropping like the flies that they sent out to spy. So somebody's trying to record your progress, or basically they want to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, blah, 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 right? Calling in positivity, calling in positivity. So I just want to restate Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. That means no matter where you go, a way will be made for you no matter what. Basically, I really like that. That's Isaiah 43:19. So knowing that God's going to make a way for you, let's see what comes out with the tarot in relation to these monitoring spirits and just the whole situation. So we're going to cut the deck and we'll see what we got here. I was trying to get away from this card. The Nine of Wands. Somebody wanted to see if you were injured or if you were on the defensive from what they sent. I'm getting that they're not, I don't feel like these monitoring spirits are being honest, and I don't feel like they spent hardly any time monitoring you. Whatever spirits they sent out have been returned to sender, and it's not because you did a return to sender. They've been returned to sender because you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything to keep yourself, in trouble, I guess I should say. It says that, well, first of all, these people are going to be on the defensive, right? They're trying to find out what's going on in your life so that they can then defend themselves or whatever. But these people need to really prepare for an assault because God is about to basically send an attack to these people. So if you wanted to know what your enemy's going through, they're about to go through an attack. It says that no matter how bad it gets, you must reach the end, even if you feel like you're damaged. I don't feel like you are damaged, though, but these people wanted to know if their attacks put a bandage on your head, if they were able to have an effect on your mental health. I don't think that they were, To be quite honest, I think that because again, what witches and warlocks do is they send the witchcraft, then they send the monitoring spirits with the witchcraft to see how they need to tweak the witchcraft to work on you. And this person or this group of people, they could be in the Five of Pentacles right now. These people they do not have a leg up. They could be experiencing homelessness, poverty, loss, insecurity, unemployment, health problems. They could be experiencing weight gain or weight loss. Again, somebody tried to put the weight of their karma onto you. That's backfired. These people have lost all support from family and friends. They're also in the tower. So they're homeless, possibly homeless, and in the tower, which means that they really need to, gosh, excuse me, energy moving through me. They really need to, well, there's nothing that they can do because, like I said, the witchcraft has been returned to sender. But this talks about all of their lives being open to disaster, taking action. Trouble will only end after you get rid of something or someone. So whoever this was that thought it was a bright idea to attack you, they're going to need to get rid of this person. No, I'm not talking about unalive them. I'm talking about no longer speaking to this person. They're going to need to ex-nay this person's energy from their life. Okay. Which means cutting them off, right? But is this person going to do that? I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. Hi, Bethany. Welcome in. I hope that you guys are having a good day, everybody coming into the chat. So these people are in the tower. They're very, very upset because the monitoring spirits have told them that, yeah, whatever they sent out did not work. You've got a King of Cups here. This person is an older person. First of all, I'm going to let you know that this person is way too old to be doing this type of shit. Like, I would expect this type of behavior to come from somebody in their 20s and 30s, not somebody in their 40s or 50s. This King of Cups acts like he's, oh, good. I'm glad that you guys are having a good day. Yeah, this King of Cups acts like he's like the most important thing in the world. Oh my gosh, look at that. These people don't need to be worried about what you're doing. They need to be worried about themselves going to jail. That Eight of Swords, this is a self-imposed restriction, but it's also, this person's overwhelmed by problems and personal issues, domination, restriction. They're going to be forced into living by other people's rules. And literally, this person is going to jail. I'm also picking up this King of Cups energy, maybe was the one that sent out the energy to see what you were doing, how you were doing. This person wants to steal a project from you. So I don't know what you're working on, but this King of Cups energy wants to steal something from you. He's also working with the King of Wands. This is either about stopping you from completing a project, or it's about taking over the project that you're working on completely. Now, you could be a tarot reader, but you don't have to be. You could be somebody that just gives really good advice. I do feel like people come to you, and you may not have even noticed this, why people come to you, but they come to you because you do have like a sixth sense. You've got something going on where you can actually advise people on how to make proper moves in their life, basically. So people may come to you with their problems quite often. You may go like, gosh, why is everybody telling me their personal shit? Right? It's because you have an empathic healing nature is what I'm seeing here. And this King of Wands is very attracted to you. This is somebody so you may be a divine feminine. This is somebody that wishes that they could be with you. Okay. So they're definitely asking about your career. They're asking about your love life. Yeah. They see these two people, these two men, they want this Seven of Pentacles talks about the tables turning. These people want to make sure that the future goes like, oh, I had a good rest. Thank you, Nur Karim. These people want to make sure that the future is going to look bright for them and not bright for you. Okay. And again, they're upset because the monitoring spirits are telling them like, yeah, this whole plot is not going to work on this person. So again, these people need to really, instead of trying to make a turning point in your finances, these people really need to like look at their own lives and why they keep, okay. So if you are a divine feminine, why these two men keep trying to steal from a woman. And then if you're a divine masculine, these two men definitely want to steal your woman, or they want to stop you from getting one. This definitely has to do with something about money. I'm not for sure why these people want you to be in the Five of Pentacles so bad, but that's just not your destiny. I'm going to be straight up with you. That is not what fate has for you. Like I said, this is about a project you're working on, this Eight of Pentacles energy, the Seven of Pentacles to the Eight. So these people are watching you work on something. Okay, I just heard maybe they think that giving advice or tarot is your main avenue. And it doesn't have to be tarot, but it could be whatever this side project that you're working on, that these people are thinking that this is your main avenue of income. And I'm getting that that's, you possibly have more than one avenue of income, or you're working on a second or a third. Again, when you come out with this project, this book, this computer program, whatever it is that you are creating, when you come out with this work, these people are going to go, like, make sure you have it copyrighted and everything before you even come out with it. Because these people are going to go right behind you, and they're going to create a lesser version of whatever your work is so that they can bring that to the public. Again, you're going to be able to sue these people and take them to court. I'm not joking. If these people follow through with this idiotic plan that they have, you will be able to take them to court and sue them for libel, slander, plagiarism, and copywriting. And that way, I mean, you'll literally have to pay some upfront court costs if these people try to go through with this. But again, that you'll end up getting so much money from this lawsuit that these people will just be shit out of luck. And these people do have a lot to lose. These people have families, they have children, they have finances, they have jobs. These people that think that this King of Cups and King of Wands, they really, really do have a lot to lose. So besides them being lazy, good for nothing idiots, kind of like, how I forget who it was that said that the people of Egypt are good for nothing because all they do is prepare for death. Again, that's not my perception of it. Well, it is a little bit, but all they do is have slaves and prepare for their death, right? But the Egyptians knew that life here on this planet is basically a prison. It's a trap. And so they have the Book of the Dead. Now there's two books of the dead. There's the Egyptian Book of the Dead and there's the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Both of these books tell you when you pass over or cross over, when you die, basically, do not go into the light. The false light systems where guides show up and stuff like that. It talks about those being false systems. And basically you want to hold on to your consciousness and develop that so that you can ascend. And so basically the reincarnation cycle of this planet, like it talks about in the Book of the Dead, is used to just recycle people's souls basically back into a new body. And in the Greek mythology, they talk about the river Lethe. So they talk about the river Lethe and how the people would have to drink from that to get their lifetime memories removed. Also, just let you know, Christine, that if you send me a $10 super chat, I will pause the collective reading and answer your question, but I'm not digging into people's personal energy for free on this platform. So this Eight of Pentacles energy is definitely what you're working on. It also talks about profitable income. This is something that will build generational wealth, whatever this is that you're working on. So yeah, you definitely want to look at all contracts, anything that you're signing as you get set up. And like I said, before you bring it to the public, okay, awesome. Before you bring it to the public, just make sure you've got all your copyright and everything like that. Because again, these people want to steal what you're making. Okay, so Christine, I'm going to get a different deck for your question. I think we're going to use the Thoth deck. Okay, so should you increase the rent by $200 at the pool house? I immediately heard yes. It's a 5-bedroom and you haven't increased the rent since the hyperinflation. Absolutely. Absolutely, you should increase it. I'm actually hearing you might want to increase it by $250 because I think since the last inflation, it's probably inflated a little bit more. So I'm getting $250. And again, for a pool house, that's not very much. That's like That's like the cheapest room that I've ever heard of somebody renting. Like, even if somebody wants to rent a bedroom from somebody, they usually are paying $400 to $450. So for a pool house, yeah, it's a 5 bedroom. Yeah, you should definitely increase it. Yeah, you have, okay, so you have 5 people that can divide the, okay, perfect. But yeah, I would do $250, and then 3 months from now, you maybe want to think about just raising it to 300, because the it's still going to go as an increase. It's just going to be not as quick, in the market. So let's see. Look at this art. I don't know if you are planning of decorating, or if you have art for sale, or if you're an artist. I'm definitely getting that you have some interior decoration. Like, you could be an interior decorator, or you are just very artistic. So yeah, that's actually a really good sign, what I'm picking up here. Abundance, look at this. So you have overwhelming abundance coming in. So yeah, I absolutely would raise it. And like I said, 3 months from now, you may want to raise another $50. I would just check with the market and see what the market's doing, because again, you've got people that can divide the costs. I think that that's really good. Also, make sure that you've got, this change written down. Make sure that you've got it written up in their lease agreement or whatever, so that they sign to agreeing to it. Okay. But yeah, I'm picking up more abundance coming in. Also, you may have an artistic ability that you don't know about that could make you quite a bit of money. I'm seeing paintings. They're not on the lease at this time. Okay, you may want to consider getting them on the lease, even if it's a month-to-month lease. And literally, that may be what you want to choose, just so it's not like, because what you don't want your tenants to think is that you just raise the price without telling them. So that's why, updating a lease or whatever rental agreement, or at least whoever is in charge of the other people that live there. Yeah, month to month, so that you've got it documented, so that when the first of the month comes around, people are not going, oh, well, I didn't know about it, or I didn't hear about it till just now. But yeah, make sure you've got all of your legal documents. Also, you know, this art energy is really high vibrational. Yeah. So just beware that some people may think that you are like this full energy, that you're a pushover. And I really don't feel like you are. I feel like you're a very fair person, and you're very level headed, which means you don't make crazy, drastic decisions without really thinking things through. So I like this energy. Yeah, you may want to take, uh, there's things called paint by numbers, and there's also, I'm just seeing a lot of exploration with artistic. You're very artistic, and you have a good sense of style as well. So yeah, this tower energy, when I see a tower, I don't always feel like a bad energy. Okay. Um, when I'm seeing this tower, this could very well be, see, I'm seeing this tower fall over the house. This is why you want to make sure that you've got it written down, so that nobody is confused when the first of the month comes around. But I feel like these people make a lot more money than what they're having to pay out in rent. So they're going to be able to afford this. Yeah. This abundance, see, there may be another way that you can make money as well, because I see this abundance coming in. Now, the tower energy, let me just ask what that is about. Okay, so maybe somebody tried to take advantage of you in the past, or an advantage of them living with you or whatever. I do feel like you have a pretty good cutoff game with the Queen of Swords here. So, this is really good. I'm picking up that this year of 2025 and 2026, you're going to be coming into a lot of abundance. And again, this could be from a side project that you pick up at some point, or it could be that, you end up, redecorating. You could be working on redecorating your own place, and then somebody could ask you to help them redecorate. I feel like you just have a lot of natural artistic ability. So yeah, I don't think that these people are going to be super disappointed that you raise the price. But again, just make sure you keep checking with the market as you're thinking of going back to mental health therapy. Okay. All right. Let me pull on that. So yeah, that feels really good, Christine. I don't know if you are a therapist or a counselor, but or are you going to get mental health therapy? Because I'm getting vibes that you could even be like somebody that helps. Like well, like I was when I started the reading, I was talking about how people come to you for advice. This may be a really, really good thing for you, especially learning about psychology and just the way that the mind works. I feel like you're very logical. Don't know if it's that is the extra income counselor. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting. You have a degree and just need to do the state boards. Okay, absolutely do the state boards, because this is the thing. You may not decide to do the counseling or therapy or whatever full time, but even having it part time, it shows an overflowing cups of abundance, right? So yeah, that feels absolutely wonderful for you. I'm so happy for you. Whatever this mentality is that you are facing, it could be fear about testing, or it could just be fear. You're defeating this fear. I feel like you're coming into a place where your energy is more stable now and you have a little bit more time that's opening up. So yeah, make just study, study, study. You're going to defeat this test, literally. And I also get that, like, there's a humongous need for more mental health therapists, right? And practitioners. Like, I guess I call them practitioners, psychologists, psychiatrists, all of that. There is a great need for that. You know, I just heard is it better health or better help therapy? There is one where you basically are an online therapist. I think that it would serve you to have a physical location and an online presence as well. Like I was saying, yeah, you are defeating this tower. This tower has been keeping you from basically moving forward. So whatever the energy of the tower was that was causing maybe devastation in your life, you know what, it's the energy of despair. I really feel like you're defeating these lower vibrational, and they are spirits, but they're not like spirits in the way that we think. They're just energies that have to do with emotion. Yeah, better integrated health. Okay, there we go. I love it. I'm loving it, because you have very good guidance. Though you guide people to look within, and I think that that is one thing that a lot of doctors, they will always be looking on the outside, but when you help people look on the inside, you help them get past this tower. Because the tower, like I said, it can be negative sometimes, but it's not always. You're going to be dealing with a lot of people that feel defeated in their lives and that feel like they're in a continual tower. And the thing is that when people are experiencing chaos, and what a tower does is it basically gets rid of any false hope. It gets rid of, the illusion that people are under, right? Because it breaks things apart. You're going to help people get back to center and get back to, their, I want to say their stability, like their right way of thinking. Because when you help people go within, it basically causes them to look at themselves, and then they can, from that point, overstep this tower and either walk around it. And that's what I'm getting, is that if people continue to look on the outside of themselves for the answer to why they feel a certain type of way, they're never going to get it. They'll always be defeated and always be in the tower energy. So I feel like the lessons, Christine, that you're learning right now in your life personally are going to be things that you help other people with, because you may be dealing with people that come to you that have, like, oh, you're very welcome. You may be dealing with people that actually have, a little bit of autism, or they could, have ADHD. I feel like you have a lot of different, very witty things to say, but they're also constructive. That helps people. mentally, like for my mind, I have to get things, my ducks in a row, and then my brain can function. I feel like you're going to be helping people who have, you know, adult lives, and they're still dealing with mental health in general, like, and that could be everything from depression to, schizophrenia. And so I personally feel like there's a lot of people that suffer from mental health disorders that are, they suffer from these things because they have spiritual gifts and abilities, and when you don't know that you have spiritual gifts and abilities, the gifts can kind of torment you for a bit until you figure out how to use them. um like, for example, people that hear voices, I feel like you're just a sound voice of clarity to people. You also help people get away from whatever this, self judgment is, what I want to say. Look at this happiness. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. Overflowing cups of happiness. So you're going to help people defeat their tower and gain happiness. This is beautiful. I really get so excited because I know that it's always the top people in society that find me, because then I help you redirect your energy to your own purpose and to your own fulfillment. And this is beautiful. This is literally like coming out of a state of being like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it or if I can do it. No, you've definitely got great energy, and you've got this stability within yourself to help other people. You also are a very loving person. This love is something, not like, I honestly do not feel like kindness is a weakness. I feel like it's a strength. And the more that you instill this love within yourself, the more that you can help the people that are needing you to tap into this love. Because a lot of times when you're suffering from mental health, or just anybody in general, we're in those moments where we're feeling so down on ourselves, because mental health does come with like an element of shame. I personally feel like it does. But when you can teach people how to love themselves, it will help them get back on track, And the Prince of Wands, this is a very fast, well, this is a chariot, and pulling this chariot is a lion, right? This also gives me the energy of the sun. And so I'm picking up that, yeah, you've got a quick moving energy that turns people's way of thinking completely around, so that they're not, thinking of themselves as being less than or anything like that, because mental health does mess with self-esteem. But when you're coming from the energy of loving yourself, like, I'm going to do these, like, I do certain things for my mental health, like painting, drawing, stuff like that every single day, and I make goals for that so that I can basically keep myself stable. You're going to be that type of therapist, and you already are, really. Is like why I was saying people always come to you for stuff, for guidance, because you're going to help the other people get into the space where they can then help themselves, so that, if they are relying on medication, if they are relying on therapy, that in those really difficult times when they're not on the phone with you or having a session with you, that they have actual tools that they can utilize to get their energy back on track. Now, my doctor gave me what's it? Tara Brock. She is a doctor, and she has her own YouTube platform, but she basically works with mental health, and she works with compassion. And so when I first came across her platform, she has this technique that's called RAIN, and it basically just has you examine basically what happened, and then why you feel this way, and what can you next do to then shift your energy. And so there's a lot of things I've learned from that. So that may be something that you want to look into. Again, I like the aspect of it because, it takes a little bit from, and so she, on each of her episodes, or I guess, videos, she has different doctors that she basically will bring on, and different other people that treat mental health. And so I like her approach because it's very grounded, but it's extremely compassionate. And we know that it's like a lot of when people are suffering mentally, there's not a whole lot of compassion there. So you may end up watching some of her videos and then being like, you know what, this is kind of good. Maybe I will follow this person just on YouTube, because they've got a lot of different videos where they talk about major life transitions. You know, you could be your clients and patients could literally be going through like Saturn return. And when Saturn returns, we know that Saturn's the energy of rules, regulation, and good. You're welcome. Yeah. Rules, regulation, and death. And so when a Saturn return happens, basically, when you're born, all of the planets are in a certain position. When Saturn comes back, so a Saturn return is when Saturn gets into the same exact position where it was when you were born. Now, there's like a solar return and a Saturn return. Those two things basically cause midlife crises, and they cause a lot of mental health uproar, like literally in people's lives. So, just knowing that, you'll be able to read about, I'm hearing shadow work, because that's what Saturn return is about. It's like, oh, by the time the Saturn return happens and Saturn's back in the position where it was where you were born, have you learned how to detach? Have you learned the lessons? I'm also getting that you're going to help people transmute their energy from being depressed to being positive, having an optimistic outlook. I also feel like, you know, telling people to monitor their day to day, like being mindful is so important. Meditation is so important, taking the time to do that. I know that those sound like spiritual tools, but really, when you meditate, you're taking your brain to the gym. And when you're not meditating, you're kind of interacting with the thoughts that go on within. And so, this Prince of Wands energy just kind of guides me to tell you that meditation and mindfulness techniques will help you to detach so that you can actually observe your thoughts happening rather than taking part in them, right? And so that's where, a lot of people that get stuck in their mind, they really need that advice, because people do think that meditation is all about spirituality, and it's really not. It's just quieting the mind so that you can gain control over your thoughts. And also knowing the importance of belief, people's belief system. Look, you are such a virtuous person. Yeah, you know, we can't tell people how to be virtuous, but you do inspire that in others. And I really love that, because to be quite honest, getting in your divine life purpose, this is part of your divine life purpose, is to help people in this way. It's also to use color, art, sound, and other types of therapy to improve your own life and to improve the life of other people. Art is something that's very influential. So is color. So, letting people that know that are overstimulated, because a lot of the times when mental breakdowns happen, it's like an overstimulation of the senses that's going on, or it could be a total collapse of a relationship or something like that. I feel like you're going to be here to help people get back up from falling down, which is beautiful. Yeah, there is a science to it. There is a science to meditation, and it's like the art of just wanting to live well. And it doesn't mean, wealthy. Yes, that could mean living well, but living well with yourself, where you feel good about yourself. I feel like you may come up with, I would just keep writing down everything that you use in your practice, because you may come up with, by the time you're a year into your practice, you may have figured out an entire book's worth of help, that you could literally have that book written. You basically just keep taking notes as you learn, and have that book written, and then you have another reference for your clients as well, so you could, have a book that has different techniques in it and different meditations and stuff like that. Like, you'll be guided to just write down when you figure something out with the mind or how the brain works or anything with mental health, then write it down, make a book of it. Your clients will get this book, and then you'll be able to meet with them on a very even ground, right? Because they'll know the information that you know. I just heard the heart is so intelligent. Getting people to listen to their hearts is like, a lot of people want to shut their heart off and not listen to it because they think it's illogical. But the heart is one of the most intelligent organs that we have, and it communicates with the brain continuously. So I feel like having a peaceful heart. Also, you may have a Prince of Discs energy that may aid you. Like maybe you have your own counselor, or you have somebody else in mental health that you'll speak to that will give you constructive criticism about this book. Because I'm getting that you want, if you write you may end up writing 3 different books throughout your lifetime, and that may be the generational wealth that comes in, because like that abundance is coming in really quick. And just to keep a thing of notes, and then you can literally get an app and put those notes into the app, and it'll form the writing for you if you don't want to have to write it yourself. But I'm getting that you can do this all by yourself. You can create the artwork for it. You can talk about how art and color and stuff like that stimulates the mind, and how to get centered, different activities and things like that. I also feel like you're going to be helping pass. It's like I'm literally seeing the Olympics when people are running and somebody's got the torch, and then they pass the torch to another person. There may be somebody that you work with closely for your own mental health, or at this wherever you work at, that you end up talking to, that is going to pass this torch to you. And when I see that fire, that is like illumination. It's light. It's being able to look at the lighter side of things. Also, this Princess of Cups, this is a very royal energy, but it just shows me that, you've got a lot of balance here. I also feel like you're very intuitive and very empathic. So you may pick up on something that the person is going through. Hi, Amelia, welcome in. You may pick up on something that the people are going through that they can't really put to words. And this is what's going to make you a really good counselor, because, a lot of people struggle with trust. We all struggle with different things. But when you can pinpoint what's the underlying emotion behind that, yeah, when you can pinpoint that underlying emotion, it's, basically you're looking at a secondary emotion that's triggered by the primary emotion. When you see that primary emotion, then you can get to the core of things. And that's what's really going to help you. So yeah, I feel like you are building something that's great right now. Yeah, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people that are very much in sorrow energy. They're going to be sad. But again, right here with the happiness. Oh, thank you, Amelia. Right here with the happiness, you're going to be able to bring people happiness and to help them learn how to love themselves. And again, we can never thank you so much, Amelia. You're amazing. We can never do the work for the people, but we can always lead a horse to water. And I do get with this Ace of Cups that people are going to drink from this cup. That's right, Amelia. Even the devils are on your side. That's what I was picking up. These monitoring spirits that were sent out, had to return right back because they didn't really have anything that they could say that, for these people to basically try to infiltrate your work. Also, just be aware that somebody may covet the knowledge that you have, because you do have knowledge that is coming from your soul when it comes to counseling other people. Of course they do. They absolutely love you. And again, look at this power. Like I just said, it's a power, y'all, that you guys have. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. You guys really, Christine, you're going to be changing the lives of a lot of people by teaching them that, first of all, that loving yourself is extremely important for your personal happiness, right? And then because a lot of people are not taught how to love themselves, that may be part of what goes into this book. But yeah, this 8 of Pentacles that you will be working on. And this book could include art, and it could also include all of your different techniques that you use for therapy. So yeah, all your ascended master teacher left left this plane and left you his inheritance. Yay! God bless for that. Wow. Amazing. That's, I was just talking about somebody passing the torch over to another person. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, you've actually inherited a wellspring of knowledge. And this knowledge is like, people that weren't taught how to love themselves as children, they won't know how to love themselves as adults. And so, it's everything from watching your diet to just talking kindly to yourself. You know, you're going to help people defeat this energy of being in the tower. Yeah. And again, you guys definitely, yeah, you guys definitely may be dealing with a little bit of jealousy, because that's when I look at this eyeball on this card, right? I do see that there is jealousy, but again, you can't. The one thing that you guys are teaching other people is that you can't control another person. And so don't even try, because again, you can only control the way that you feel and the way that you react. And basically the way that you do feel about yourself and about other people is like, you know, it's everybody's responsibility for their own happiness. It'll never be something outside of them or somebody else's. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So this is beautiful, Christine. You're going to have an amazing career here. And this power that you hold is going to help inspire others to do the same thing. And that's why I'm saying, like, you may end up, by the time you feel like you want to retire from your career, with 3 books of wisdom. So this is beautiful. It's also extremely virtuous. It's what's going to keep you in alignment with source. And because there is a science to the mind, like, you're going to help people. I think it's so important for anybody that if any of you are struggling with anything going on with mental health, that you basically learn the mind. You learn everything about psychology and the mind and the way that the brain works. Because if you don't know that background, you're just going to be in a state of confusion, right? And so it's so much easier to go, okay, my mind is on overdrive. This is why it's doing this. And then being able to, verbalize on how to deal with that, basically. Okay, so I'm just looking at this next question that came in. Do I think words spoken in anger can be powerful enough to change people's look to look like objects, for example? That's a good question. So I don't think that anger is powerful. I think that it's potent, but I don't, as far as power, it's not more powerful than love. I do feel like, okay, so I do feel like this is why God hates gossip and slander. Okay. And God, and this is another reason why, yeah, love always wins. God doesn't like gossip and slander, because what it does is it basically changes the way that other people view things. Okay. Because something weird happened to you. Yeah. So I do feel like sometimes when people are angry, but again, you know, other people can't create things in your reality for you, if that makes sense. So it's like, if somebody's opinion about you changed because somebody else was angry, then most likely that person that changed their opinion already felt some type of anger towards you in the first place. So I am picking up on jealousy, though. Chris, Nat channel, I am picking up on jealousy for sure. So yeah, I would say that that's why God doesn't like gossip and slander and verbal stuff. Also, when things are said in anger, people say things that they don't mean, and that's another thing. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm so excited for you. I just wanted to conclude that. You're going to do so good. So yeah, okay, so it's your ex-girlfriend interested in magic. Okay, well now I'm glad that you said that, because if somebody's using magic, then absolutely yes. Yes, yes. And they could even be setting up the magic and then using anger words to trigger the magic. She said that your ego was inflated like a balloon. Okay. Yeah. So The fact that you didn't care about what she said basically proves the fact that you're not inflated by ego. I'm not really picking up on that, but I am picking up on a heated conversation that occurred that could have, you know, if any, yeah, people accuse others of what they are doing. That's exactly right, Amelia. So again, and if she was using any type of magic, then if you're experiencing anything weird, like people turning on you, um and especially if she was using magic, then absolutely yes, magic is one thing that unfortunately that can change the way that people think and feel about a situation, and it can even change the way that they see a situation. So, but again, magic can only do so much. You're still the creator of your reality. So even if somebody says like, "Oh, well, you've just got an inflated ego," you know that you don't really have an inflated ego. Somebody that has I would consider somebody that has an inflated ego to be very self-centered, and I'm not getting that you're self-centered at all. I get that you give most of your time and energy to other people, and so um yeah, you're dealing with somebody that just wanted to say something very hurtful to make you look a certain type of way so that others wouldn't accept you, which is extremely manipulative. It just kind of shows that anybody that is going to use witchcraft to manipulate some shit, yeah, you judge based on your condition. That's exactly it. Anybody that's going to use witchcraft to manipulate shit, that they're stuck in their ego. Because again, if you have to resort to using magic to get so that just shows you that you definitely are not stuck in your ego if somebody's trying to use magic to make it look like that. So, but yeah, beware of people that are manipulative. Magic is a very real thing, unfortunately. um but I do pick up that this ex that you have wants to stop you from creating this work, whatever it is. This could even be working on yourself, because again, if she feels like if she can keep you in a state where you're emotionally in turmoil or you're hurt, then you're not going to make yourself better, you're not going to heal yourself, you're not going to evolve. This person's afraid of losing you, and so they're really acting out. You are really fat now. Wow. Well, did this happen all at once where you gained a bunch of weight? Because that could very well be magic. In fact, I'm absolutely picking up that if you did a reversal, okay, so I pray that whatever fat has been put on you is reversed. Yeah, because that doesn't seem normal. It feels like something was done or something got triggered and then a whole lot of weight. Is this water weight or something? Or is this weight that has to do? Yeah. And then you start to gain a lot of weight. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you're dealing with somebody that's using word magic, Chris. So I would definitely start praying Psalm 91 and, you know, I'm asking God to show me. Okay, so your ex girlfriend was doing magic on you. And again, this is the thing. Yeah, we rebuke it and we give it to God. We can try to control the way that things go out, but we cannot control the way that it comes back, which means, she sent out a lot of energy to make you look a certain type of way so that other people would not want you, which is like, that is some childish shit right there. But besides the point, um, eventually, eventually she's going to have to be responsible for that energy. And so I would give that energy to God. And then, you know, as far as losing weight, it's literally like just reversing the energy. I pray against all fat spells and all spells that would make you guys not feel good about yourselves, because this ex of yours wants to keep you in a trauma bond so that you guys are bonded by trauma, not by positivity. And I feel like she definitely was doing spell work behind the scenes and then using word magic to activate the spell work, which is quite common when we see witches. Yeah. So, like this Hierophant energy, I feel like you have the energy of the Hierophant within you, which means it may be a little bit of studying on, your diet, on what to do. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, you really hurted her. Okay. Well, you know, I'm not even getting that this is about revenge. This is somebody that wanted you to stay underneath their control. So whether you hurted her or not, I mean, you can always apologize, and get, at least by apologizing and forgiving yourself, it kind of puts the energy and the ball in her court so that she can decide what she wants to do with that energy. But you were in a very toxic relationship with this person. So the fact that it ended up being toxic is not a surprise to me, because it was like a trauma bond, is what I'm seeing. So yeah, it says that teamwork, you may end up finding a nutritionist or somebody just to even talk to, like a therapist, to help guide you through this. And maybe this Hierophant is me, but this is basically, by the time that you're done with this experience, you're gonna have your own testimony with God, basically. And that could be it in itself, something that you write down or you express to other people. But yeah, this Hierophant energy could also be like, a religious institution or something like that. It was a good relationship. She was nice to you, but you cheated on her. Yeah, I definitely felt the cheating energy, but I also feel like she was doing witchcraft behind the scenes way before you cheated on her. And most likely you cheated on her because of the witchcraft backfiring. So yeah. So nobody is innocent in the situation. And so I would let go of whatever guilt you're holding on to, basically, with it. Two of Wands, you guys, this is beautiful. You guys will command the respect and attention of others. Also, this person was not, yeah, so it's like she really turned you into a balloon. Well, yes and no. I mean, like I said, other people, they can send out the energy, but if we like, let's say that you were praying, and I know you weren't praying, but if you were praying, that could have blocked this energy from not affecting you. So I would start getting close to God. And um yeah, you're dealing with somebody that definitely has power. I mean, they do have power, but again, anybody outside of you is never, their power is never going to exceed. And I don't care if they gang up with 1,000 people, doesn't matter. Their power will never exceed what your power can do in your own life, right? So I do feel like you can turn this situation around. This Two of Wands is taking a new viewpoint on things, looking at them from a different angle. This also talks about, growth, power, and courage. So it's going to take courage to get rid of this extra weight. I'm literally feeling a lot of water in my body right now. So that could be significant as well. It could be something about water weight. Again, if you have a doctor, I would definitely ask your doctor on what different things you can do for your, without having to just like take a pill for weight, or what is it, Ozempic or whatever, for weight loss. Because again, you lived a good portion of your life where you were not ballooned up, swollen up. But yeah, if she did a balloon spell on you, that's exactly what I'm seeing here. So the good thing about spell work is it can be reversed and it can be undone. Okay. And so through taking herbal baths, so basically when you do, I don't know if you know about cleansing or anything like that, but I'm going to just suggest a few different things that Spirit's showing me. First of all, detox tea. Now, you cannot drink detox tea. Do it only one time a week. Okay. And then dieter's tea. Again, one time a week. And check with your doctor to see if, again, if you're on any medications or anything, ask your doctor if that would be okay. But what I tell people is the detox tea is going to start taking all of the toxins that are in your liver, and it's going to pull it out into your system so that the water and your poop and everything like that and pee can get rid of it, right? The dieter's tea, what that does is it goes through your intestines, like it's made with sienna leaf, right? And this leaf, it'll go through your intestines and it'll grab all of the stuff attached to the walls. And so you'll end up pooping out, like, over, let's say that you do the dieter's tea one time a week, you'll lose like 20 pounds. If you do it for like a month, and doing it 1 time a week, you'll lose like 20 pounds of weight. And that's just fecal material that's still stuck in your body. And then, drinking more water. Okay. Drinking water is another thing that will help you, because a lot of the times when our bodies are screaming for food, they're actually screaming for water. And so we can actually drink more water, and that will help our system, especially if you're dealing with water weight. If you're drinking a lot of caffeine and sodas and stuff like that, um, I would start switching to water. And if you don't like the way that water tastes, you can add a little bit of lemon in it. Again, lemon is a very good cleanser and detoxifier. That will also help as well. So, and then, doing stretching, doing light yoga. Again, if you feel like your energy levels are low, doing light yoga is a very good thing. Walking, doing, like not hardcore workouts is what I'm seeing, because you don't want to trigger your system to go into inflammation mode, but you do want to become more aware of what you're putting into your body, not just the physical stuff, not just like what am I digesting with my food, but actually looking at what are my thoughts, where am I, is there anywhere in my life that I'm feeling gluttonous in? What am I mentally digesting? Okay, that's going to be something else that you look at as well. So there is a combination of different things that will help you to lose this weight, Yeah. Yeah, this is why I'm saying that it'll be kind of difficult, but it's absolutely doable. Drinking more water is definitely something you can do. Light yoga, absolutely something you can do. There are a lot of yoga practitioners on YouTube that you can just search, in the YouTube bar, like light yoga exercises. And then just, when you get up in the morning, regardless if you feel bad or not. Also, if you drink alcohol, that's basically every time you drink alcohol, it turns into sugar in your blood. And I'm getting that you want to stay away from sugars as much as you can, because the pancreas deals with diabetes, but I do get that you might have what is it called? Pre-diabetes. You might have in your bloodline, basically, people that have been diabetic or pre-diabetic or whatever. And so, yeah, so making sure that you stop. If you're drinking a lot of alcohol, uh, pull out the alcohol. Again, 1 glass of wine every few days is not going to do you that much harm. But if you're drinking like a case of beer a day, that could potentially cause a lot of weight gain. And again, alcohol turns into blood in the system. Yeah. Well, it could be, again, like part of you. Oh, taking spiritual baths. This is another one. Okay. So spiritual baths, you can add peppermint oil, or peppermint banishes energy, right? So spiritual baths with peppermint, also burning sage. You basically are wanting to clear up any karma that you have from cheating. And again, be very kind and compassionate with yourself, because life is a learning process. If you don't make mistakes, then you're not going to figure out how to live, basically, because we all live by our mistakes. So, as far as this person taking you back, I feel like that's kind of broken. But where you're at right now, if you start taking up spiritual hygiene, taking up your spiritual hygiene, which is taking salt baths, right? Using peppermint oil, or just boiling peppermint in water and adding it to your bath. You're wanting to remove the negative energy that's been created with this experience, basically. So, you can also add baking soda to the bath, baking soda and Epsom salts. Also, pink Himalayan salt is a very good one for the aura. And then burning sage and Palo Santo. And again, You can even just start reading Psalm 91. Okay. Because I really feel like this one, if you would have stayed prayed up, this energy would have not touched you. That's what God's saying to me. So getting close to God, and you can do that through going within, through meditating, accessing basically your own connection. That's the most powerful way, is knowing that God exists within, and you can go within to do that. But the good thing about Psalms and prayers is that everything that exists in the Bible and the book of Psalms, those are situations that real people have actually been through. And they're also situations that people could go through in the future. So when you say a certain prayer, a certain psalm, then God knows exactly what you're talking about, the exact situation that needs to be protected or looked at or prayed for, whatever. And so it's like each of the Psalms are for a different thing. So Psalm 91 is a very good one for protection, because this was caused by like karma and by an external force. You want to start protecting your energy. Again, when you protect your energy, you're going to find that the weight starts falling off. And a lot of, also asking yourself, what beliefs am I holding on to? What thoughts and beliefs am I holding on to that are blocking me right now and that are keeping me clogged up? Because I get that your root chakra is very low. So it's going to be important to take care of your chakra system and learning about the chakras, right? Learning about how to work with different crystals. This crystal right here is called selenite. This is the best crystal for clearing negative energy. Okay. And that crystal never has to be charged or anything like that. It never has to be charged, cleansed, nothing like that. It's a continual cleanser. So yeah, having selenite around, and Christine, when you get a physical office for your clients, get yourself a thing of selenite, a big one, and put it in the office with you, because it'll clear the negative energy that people bring into the office. So yeah, I would definitely, or you could get something with organite. This is organite. Organite is a special combination of different minerals that when it gets put together, it basically puts out an orgone field of energy that blocks out harmful EMF rays and radiation and stuff like that. So you may want to get organite and get selenite for your guys' offices. But yeah, I would definitely start working with crystals, Chris Nat channel, and start working with different, because again, I do believe that for every disease and malfunction our bodies could have, there is some type of herb or a crystal or a mineral that can help our bodies create balance. So also if you have any by you, going to sound baths. Okay. And what a sound bath is what we're listening to in the background. It's basically different crystal singing bowls, right? And these put out a radiation of energy, or a radius of energy. So listening to the different sound baths or going to one will help remove that excess energy, and it's also very grounding. So going to sound bath or listening to one online. And then also if you have a hot springs, okay, a hot springs is a very good way to transmute your energy. They're just like healing hot pots. So of earth energy and of whatever minerals are in the water. And so basically your skin is the biggest absorbent that we have. So by getting into the hot spring, you're taking whatever spiritual yuck hygiene that you've got with you, and you're allowing healing to take hold, if that makes sense. So yeah, you're going to get through this. I mean, and then picking, like I said, a light exercise. A lot of people think that weight loss has to do primarily with diet and exercise, and I disagree. I feel like it really has to do with, what you're holding on to mentally and spiritually. And I feel like it also has to do with basically what cycle my nose is running, what cycle your body is on, how many times a day that you eat. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, so you'll have to check with your doctor, but intermittent fasting, if you're on medications, I would suggest intermittent fasting is a really good way to gain control over your hunger for things, because when you're fasting, you're giving up that what you would be taking in as sustenance, right? Like I don't eat 3 meals a day. I pretty much do intermittent fasting, and I fast um from nighttime until, the afternoon or evening of the next day. And so that by doing that, you're gaining control over your gut. I also heard prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics and probiotics. Okay, so prioritizing your gut health, and then also choosing foods not based upon what your craving is, but based upon chakra. So you could look at like a red pepper will affect the root chakra because it's red. That's what I'm getting, is that you want to start eating things that are either the shape of your organs, like blackberries are they kind of form the shape of the pancreas. And it's not about, there are some things that you can eat like berries and lettuce and stuff like that, where you can just eat a bunch of that, right? Where if you're dealing with hunger, I would suggest working with intermittent fasting, because it just gives you control over that hunger switch it's like a switch in your brain, but it's also a switch in your gut, if that makes sense. And again, you need to forgive yourself for cheating. Like, you're not the only person that's cheated in this world. And even though it is something you don't want to repeat with people, you have to forgive yourself, because you're still here learning, And again, I feel like you think that God is punishing you or something is punishing you because you cheated. And I feel like that's more you punishing yourself, if that makes sense. But yeah, somebody was definitely working some type of magic on you. And so reversing that magic will basically help you. And you can do that through prayer. That way, if anybody were to send any more energy to you, like, because I'm getting that you have an energy that prompts you to eat. Maybe you even eat in your sleep or something. Yeah, you stop. Oh, good. See, you stopped cheating. So maybe it was a good lesson for you. There's always something that you can learn from the experience, and this will make you a better person, Again, if you guys ever experience a relationship where you feel like you need to cheat, then the person that you're with is not who you're meant to be with, because trust me, with this Ace of Cups, this is love coming from the universe. This is the Holy Spirit supporting you guys. When you're in the right relationship, you will never want to cheat. And so that's another thing to just know, that's, even if you feel like, oh, I'm just a womanizer and no, I'm telling you that when you're with the right person, you will not want to cheat. Like, you will just want to be with them and only with them. Okay. And I know that life can be so very tempting, especially when you're looking at people for the aesthetic that they have. You really want to attract, like, the person that's going to be the best person for you, may be somebody that has a different aesthetic than what you're used to, So again, I don't feel like you're going to repeat these mistakes, because you have learned a valuable lesson, right? So yeah. Also, I'm getting like really good karma coming in for you, Amelia. Spirit just said, Amelia, you have like a reservoir of good karma and dharma that's just going to be flooding your way. So this is like a lot of positive energy. Yeah. And again, if you do the proper exercises and stuff, when you lose this weight, if you're toning your body with yoga and, exercises and stuff like that, you'll be able to get your body back. So again, you have to let go of the feeling that you have right now, basically, because it's that feeling. And maybe journaling would help you as well to write down your thoughts and emotions. That way you could go back over them and be like, okay, this is just straight up bullshit. Why am I thinking this, and this? And then by process of elimination, you can go, okay, well, this is not really serving me. This thought's not really serving me. Because once you can pinpoint the thoughts and beliefs that you're having that's causing you to feel a certain type of way, the easier it is to become aware of them. That way, when the magic gets sensed, or the trigger gets triggered, you go, okay, I can take a step back and look at this from a higher perspective and go, all right, this is just another trigger. I'm going to do, usually when I feel that magic's trying to manipulate me to do something, I will do the exact opposite of what I feel like it's trying to manipulate me to do. So if it's like lay in bed and da 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 da, I will literally like get out of bed and go walking around. You were gaining weight and you wanted to cheat. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay. I mean, it's not going to fix. Yeah. When you changed, it stopped. So there you go. So it could have been a mentality, but I do get that it had to do with witchcraft. There was definitely magic being done. And it could have been that your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend wanted to put this fat balloon spell on you so that you wouldn't cheat. That could like very well be it. Because again, you are dealing with somebody, if she has witchy powers, she's very intuitive. So, and I do get that when she speaks, a lot of the time things create. So that's why it's a person that you don't want to piss off. Because things said in anger can really be detrimental on both ends, right? Because a lot of the times when we say things in anger, it's just that harsher part of ourselves coming through, and that's not how we actually feel. Like when the external triggers and stuff are removed, that's not actually how we feel, So knowing that you can find joy and inner peace within, and again, loving yourself unconditionally. What does that mean? So rose quartz is the best crystal for unconditional love. It looks like this. You have to have selenite with it so that you can cleanse it, because crystals absorb negative energy, and rose quartz is known to like absorb negative energy and then crack and stuff. So, but loving yourself, when you look in the mirror, you want to love yourself. You want to love yourself regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you feel. And unconditional love is the way that you would look at a parent or a sibling. Like, I love you no matter what you look like. I love you no matter what you say. I may not be happy with what you say sometimes, or I may not be happy with whatever, but I still love you. You need to be able to give that love to yourself. And that's so important. That's a major life lesson. Because if you think it's just the woman's job to give you the love that you need, you're never going to get that unconditional love, unless you get in a relationship where the person holds the love of God. And this is why learning your own relationship with God and knowing that God loves you. You guys, it doesn't matter what you've done. If you've cheated, if you've even beat somebody before, like physically beat the shit out of it, doesn't matter what your mistakes are. I mean, even Jeffrey Dahmer wanted to repent in his last few days. So like God says, you can come to me no matter where you're at. It doesn't mean that God's going to be like, okay, now that you came and repented, you're not going to ever have to deal with karma for what occurred, because karma is just the after effect. It's like the butterfly effect of whatever the actions are. And so you still have to be able to deal with karma, but it will be less than like with God taking off a part of it because you repent. God is always going to forgive you as long as you're actually truly sorry. And I do get that you're authentically do feel sorry for cheating. So, also you need to look out for the Jezebel spirit, because when you were cheating, it was with that Jezebel energy. That is like the same energy that jumps from woman to woman. And so you just need to be aware of that so that you can just know when Jezebel's trying to get you to cheat. Because she'll put pressure and set up messed up situations. And I honestly feel bad for Jezebel, because in her heart, she just wants to be loved, but she's not really getting it. And so definitely the energy of a demon. But again, look at the illusions. See how this is somebody's shadow? This is not even like a person. This is their shadow. I get that shadow integration is going to be essential for you guys at this time. Well, Amelia, you've pretty much completed almost all of your shadow work and you have just good karma coming in. But yeah, when I look at this shadow person, I basically am just seeing somebody that's unhealed, that has a lot of trauma, right? So yeah, these people that they sent out spirits to spy on you guys. And I think it's because of this project you could be working on, this new way of thinking that you're adapting, or this new way of living. I feel like people just want to know what you're up to because you're not posting it, right? Look at this justice. So whatever these illusions were that clouded your judgment in the past, because again, this shadow person, see all the weird things coming out of those cups? Like, until you drink that cup, you don't really know what it is that's inside of it. That's why the Seven of Cups is about illusions. So this also talks about a need for structure and discipline in your life, and the fact that you weren't seeing things clearly. There was clouded judgment. You may be misinterpreting your reality. Wishing for something doesn't make it happen. Anything risky at this time will fail, but I'm getting that you've already ended the risky behavior that you're engaging in. Now, justice is the energy that everybody has to deal with. Okay. It just talks about personal integrity and fairness. But yeah, hi, welcome in, Mickey Haji. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Mikey, maybe. But yeah, this is showing me that, again, you had a contract to go through this experience, and this is going to be resolved to the moment that you guys go. And it's like apologizing for hurting yourself. You're always going to be forgiving yourself and forgiving other people. And then, of course, God is an all forgiving, all, like, how she did it. So what I was picking up on, Chris, was it was with word magic. So she put something spiritually in place with this Seven of Cups illusions, and then she tried to use the energy of justice in her mouth, like by saying certain trigger words to activate that magic in your subconscious, basically. And yeah, again, when she did this to you, you were not enlightened you were not awakened. You were asleep in the matrix. Because she did this spell work on you, you had the opportunity to wake up. So this is why when you guys go, well, why would God even allow that? Because you're asleep. Basically, God allows you to go through spell work because it awakens you to the truth that you are God. Your higher self is God. There is no separation. And the more that you can bring any problem that you're going through into that oneness of yourself and create a safe space for you to exist, you're going to be creating justice. Also, this is talking about you moving forward from this, not allowing the mistakes that you made in the past to paint your future, right? Look at this, Six of Cups. Focus on the happy memories that you have in the past, okay? Because again, a lot of the times when we get stuck in this Seven of Cups illusion, it's because we're seeing the past in a different way than it actually was, right? So it could be partially your memories that taunt you. But yeah, by praying Psalm 91, like I said, this woman could try to do this to you again, or try to do again. I don't think that she's going to, because it already worked what she did in the past. But if it is something, because I don't know how, I don't do witchcraft, so I don't really know how often it has to be done or whatever. But if it is something that has to be done on a regular basis, you want to pray for her to forgive you, basically, so that she's not wanting to do magic on you. And then you want to pray Psalm 91 to protect you from anything that was done or anything that would be done, right? Yeah, King of Swords. So again, the King of Swords is somebody that's abrupt and judgmental. This is somebody that also has a position of authority usually. I feel like this could be your energy. You could have been in the defensive mode before. But again, even if you were in the defensive, on a subconscious level, you knew that something was going on. But yeah, I don't know how she did it, but it was something with programming, Actually, let me ask God I guess it doesn't matter how exactly it was done. I don't know why I just started smelling, what is that? It smells like burnt rubber. Okay, somebody maybe check your tires, you guys. Just check your tires. Yes, you should definitely apologize. Absolutely. That's going to clear up some of the karma, because if you haven't apologized, then I could definitely see why this woman's still doing magic on you, because she wants an apology. And even if she says, well, your apology doesn't mean shit, trust me, it means more that you would apologize than not apologize, because she knows how you used to be, where you were just very unapologetic about things. And it also shows that you're willing to take responsibility for the actions that you've created in the past, which is, that's being, I am still smelling the freaking, it smells like when you're driving and you have your parking brake on. So that I'm literally smelling that so hardcore. So that may be significant. Make sure your parking brake is off, and then check your tires. Okay. So that make sure that you don't have a flat tire or low air in your tires, or something like that. Again, I don't know why that smell just came up, but it's that burnt rubber, like tire smell. Yeah, there's nobody outside working on their cars or nothing like that. So that's funny. I'm like, let me just make sure there's nobody changing a tire out front. There's nobody changing a tire out front. So yeah, I don't know, is there a spirit involved in this? Well, there was definitely a monitoring spirit that was, relaying information back, but I feel like the monitoring spirit didn't have a whole lot to relay back to this person. So yeah, if you do all the stuff that we talked about, again, always ask your doctor, especially if you are super big, what's going to be the best thing for you. And if you're on medication, you never want to introduce a new herb or anything like that that could not work well with your medication if you're on medication. So, and if you're using alcohol or substances to cope or compensate, that could be another thing that you just want to look at, is how am I dealing with the situation, and what am I using to deal with it. You just basically want to when you put everything in the hands of God, it's going to work out for your highest and best good. And again, you may end up having a testimony in the future of how God has changed your life. Yeah, it'll be hard because they saw you like that, and well, but you know what? It's going to be worth it, because again, anytime that you intentionally hurt another person or do anything to deceive them, it's just going to be better karmic for you to apologize to that person, right? And so even though that may be hard to do, that part, the part that tells you that it would be hard to apologize, that's ego. Okay? Because I'm telling you, your heart of hearts wants to say sorry, so it's not going to be hard for you to apologize. I really feel like you're going to get through this. And I'm glad that you brought this up, because it's making me look at, I gained a whole bunch of weight all at once, and I had not ever thought, oh, okay, this could be definitely a spell. I did not think that, but now I'm looking at it differently. This star trait or star quality that you guys possess really, really is important to know about, because it talks about whatever dreams that you're having may come true for the future. Like that could literally be a dream or a download that you get while you're asleep. So if you guys are not remembering your dream, I would include in your nightly prayers that when you wake up that you remember your dream and that it can make sense for you. Because a lot of the times, if we can clear things when they're in the dream state or resolve them there, or even when we wake up, then whatever's in the dream state will not happen in the real waking life. But we do get clues and hints to what's going on in our life by our dreams, right? Yeah, so if you had weird dreams while gaining the weight, okay, if you had any dreams where somebody either led you to a table or they got you to eat something, that right there is the witchcraft sign that somebody's trying to get you to gain weight. Again, anytime you eat something in a dream, you end up eating somebody's witchcraft. And so that's somebody's trying to feed you witchcraft. So again, if you had any dreams about eating, that's why, I tell you guys to be aware of your dreams, have a dream journal or download the dream journal app so that you can take note of what your dreams are. Because sometimes like we'll remember them at first when we wake up, but then 10 minutes goes by and we're like, dang, now I forgot the dream. You know what I'm saying? So having it either on your phone or having it right by you is a really good way to access those downloads. And they are spirit, just like a computer. Our systems are getting downloads all the time. And so also if you dream about people, it could be that you had another lifetime with that person, or it could just be warning you. Like when I had severe witchcraft being done on me by these two people, in the beginning, I had a dream where these two people that were doing witchcraft on me came to me in the dream, and they specifically told me exactly what they were doing with witchcraft. And I was like, what? Why would you guys do this to me? Then I woke from that dream and I went and I heard something outside my condo door where I used to live. And I went and I opened the blinds and I looked and I saw those two people literally standing there pouring vinegar on the ground doing some weird witchcraft. So yeah, inflated full of air and you started to float like a real balloon. Okay, that's the dream. That's the spell right there. So now that we have located it, I pray that that gets resolved, because literally, like I said, some of this stuff is water weight and it could be, the air, whatever. I don't know how that works in the system, but I'm telling you, you had that dream. That was a big indicator that this work was being done on you. So yeah, start praying Psalm 91 on a day-to-day basis. You're going to see an improvement of your life, like in a massive way. And then also you can throw in with the prayer, like, Spirit God, if there's anybody that doesn't have my well-being and interests or doesn't mean me good, please let me know. And then God will give you a dream, or God will show you somebody, and then always listen to what your gifts and your intuition give you. Okay. You guys are going to get better from this. Now, again, I would have it in my mentality that because this happened in a magical way, like it really was magically done where you gained all of this weight, like all at once, that can be reversed, right? But it's going to take spiritual cleansing. Now, look at this. I'm just being reminded to remind you of this quote, Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I am doing a new thing, right? You're changing your ways. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So there will be a way that is made for you. Okay. Also, you may want to work on your solar plexus chakra, which is how you feel about yourself. The best crystal for the solar plexus is bumblebee jasper. They do have it in bracelet form. Okay. This is it in bracelet form. I'm going to type it into the chat so that you guys know. This is the best for self-confidence and self-worth. Self-worth, self-confidence. Okay, now there's another crystal called apatite. And this will help you with your appetite. It's literally for that. So the apatite crystal, I think I have it. Here's blue apatite. And then they also have it in yellow form. Either one is going to help you curb your appetite, right? So yeah, I would seriously start communicating with your guides and inform them about the dream. And then if you were ever to have, like, always listen to your dreams, you guys. If you were ever to have that dream again, definitely go into prayer. Anytime that you're awakened in the middle of the night and you don't know why you're awake, that's an indication that it is time for you to start praying. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you for making it to the ending of this reading. Thank you, everybody that donated and all that. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting me. Know that God loves you. Know that I love you. All right. Until the next reading, peace be with you. Oh, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the platform, and hit the notification bell so you're notified of every time that I go live. You don't want to miss out on this beautiful journey that we are all creating together. And again, knowing that God loves you is a very important thing, because it's God's love. It's the way that God loves you that's going to teach you how to love yourself, right? Okay, you guys are very welcome. Know that I love you. Know that God loves you. Until the next reading, I'm sending you air hugs. Peace be with you. I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Have a good day. Bye.